Hello everybody, this is Dr. Timothy Elizondo here for episode number 4 of Tim Tries to Write His Philosophy Outline in 15 minutes a day or less. So let me hit my timer and see what we've got going on. Alright, so the last time we were here, I was arguing with my outline, and in the meantime, what I decided to do was I just took everything from my first point and I put it into another Microsoft document. I'm like, look, I gotta clean this up. I gotta organize my thoughts. So let me just take this one idea, the smaller part of this outline, and move it to something else and just start working with that. So I've got my first point of my outline where I want to be making this argument that philosophy is important, right? Because ultimately my thesis is going to be making the assertion that, look, canceling the philosophy class would be terrible, so don't do it, all right? So, and if you notice what I have is since I left, I put in my evidence cards, right? So I've got these claims that were attached to these particular pieces of evidence that I extracted, and then I kind of organized them into an outline so that I've got larger, big ideas that are supported by my different evidence cards. And so I think what I want to do today is just kind of like go through this and kind of just clean this up, see kind of where I'm at. And I think it also illustrates the point that I don't need to have my complete idea in my head before I start writing, right? This approach is very much like completing a 1,000-piece jigsaw puzzle. And if you've ever done that, remember, you just do a section at a time in hopes that eventually it'll all come together and look amazing. Okay? So let's see what I've got here. All right, so I've got the study of philosophy is important for students. So sorry, yeah, so that seems to be what I want to be arguing. I think I'm going to say like a necessary. That's always a word that I have problems spelling, is a necessary. All right, so I can't guarantee how exciting this video is going to be. There we go, necessary. Is a necessary field of inquiry for students and citizens alike. Okay, so philosophy promotes important values that leads to a positive change. I think I kind of want to have something else first. Like, what do I want to say? I think that I think I want to say like Columbia College is an important institution within our community in its role of preparing citizens for the future. Okay, yeah. And philosophy promotes that leads to positive change. Yeah. It leads to knowledge. All right, so as a kind of inquiry, philosophy is aimed at establishing knowledge and understanding. What does evidence say? The evidence doesn't really say a lot. So what? So I think for my analysis, what I want to extract from that. There is wide agreement that there is a relationship between the study of philo and what else? And ethics, morality, God and God's role in climate change. Why not? Why not? And what else? Do I need another example? Yeah, critical thinking. Just overall critical thinking and argumentation. It's the only place on campus where these issues are explored. Yeah. All right. Philosophy leads us to understand of how that allow us to settle them. Yep. Yeah. Philo courses help provide space for students to explore larger ethical and or, can I say spiritual? kind of matters. What is supposed to say that? In a context of critical thinking. Yeah, because there's other places you can go and talk about that kind of stuff, but where else do you have to actually put it in an argumentation form and want to just kind of like, I don't know, like claw at your face as you're trying to logically figure out like why you think what you think. Philosophy frees us from conventional thinking. Yeah, it does that. Can help illuminate new ways of thinking about issues. Okay, so then after Russell says that, what's my analysis going to be? My analysis is, what's my analysis going to be? I'm going to extract from that. So it helps new ways of thinking. He says that there's a relationship. Columbia College lies within a area known to be influenced, heavily influenced, I actually would say, influenced by specific political and or cultural ways of thinking. Yeah. Russell agrees, not agrees, but Russell's words indicate that Philo allows us to think. It's kind of like think in a different way, right? So what would be an example of that? Well, examples could be, well, I mean, later in the book, right? I mean, we could argue that's going to be ways of looking at gender. When we talk about the mind-body problem, ways of looking at destiny and or individual choice. All right, we're going to get there. But what if you're like, Tim, we haven't got there yet, so let's talk about something we've gotten to. Using rational thinking to solve empirical problems. In other words, like there's problems out there we can measure, so philosophy like encourages us to use our mind to solve those problems. And ultimately, we're going to be liberated. So large uncertainty applies to those true answer that which raise and able to segment put them down. Yeah, cool. Analysis. Kind of the analysis right now is just Philo is awesome. Well, it's the only area, right? It's the only area on campus where this is possible. Need to analysis. How's the length of the question? So how does this occur? Is going to count? So does this occur in Vogue? I'm going to say no. I think here is like areas of inquiry that focus on, okay, I don't want to like be yelling, that focus on, what do I want to say here? It's kind of like areas of inquiries that focus on Vogue objectives. And I'm going to argue that's like employment, right? Like immediate employment are not places where these kind of objectives are reached. Thus, CC needs Philo. All right. Master Philo is dangerous. Most cancel. Okay, so this seems to be, yeah, Philo is awesome. Okay. Focus on direct employment. Or is there anything else that employees like would be considered like okay, so if I'm a parent, right? So, and I've actually got like a friend of mine who is a philosophy major in grad school, and before he went, him and I were talking about it. I was like, dude, like, so you don't want to be employed? He's like, I guess not. And he had another opportunity to become employed. And so he really had to kind of choose between a path that provided him a certain kind of economic security and another one that was more just like, pursuing philosophical ideas. So what did he give up? He gave up potential kind of security and material certainty, employment. I would say it's like almost like a relationship with the economic sector. I don't know. Can we go with relationship with capitalism? Why not? Right? Because I mean, really, it's. I mean, you could argue there are certain majors where the emphasis of the majors did to become a worker, right? Within a capitalist system. So I think that's reasonable for now. I don't know if I'm going to go all Marxist or anything like that, but keeping it open, keeping it loose. Because again, this has nothing to do with what I believe, right, or what I want to argue. I might want to actually argue like the complete opposite of actually what I'm typing, but I can't because the evidence is forcing me to make this particular argument. And I think that's a really key idea in this particular course because the prompts are written in such a way for students to use really specific essays or parts of the essay to be able to construct really specific arguments. So for example, if we turn our attention towards the matrix prompt, for example, there's really about 3 successful ways I've seen in the past that students have answered this particular essay. Now, each approach has a different thesis, right? One's like, yeah, we live in the matrix. There's another one that's like, no, we don't live in the matrix. And there's a third that I'm going to leave kind of off the table for now. But if you notice, those theses, right, they contradict each other. But they were both A responses based on the way the student constructed the argument. Okay, so ultimately, this class is about learning to construct arguments in exam papers that we can then turn into professors in order to complete a course. Okay. All right, so let's go back to my outline. Zip. All right, so the study of philosophy is necessary to encourage students and citizens alike. Columbia College is an important institution where community is its role preparing the students for a future. I think I need to prove that somehow. I don't know. I think I need evidence. Where can I find evidence that says Columbia College is awesome? So I'm just going to pick a note. Look at Columbia College's website for a piece of evidence that says Columbia College is awesome and important. Chances are, I bet somewhere on their webpage. All right. So let's see. What do you guys think so far? What do you think? Is this coming along? Do I need to shrink it? What would this look like if I shrank it? Oh, look at that. Look at that. I think that's coming along. I think that is coming along. I want to bold that. Okay. Okay. All right, so what else can I do in my last minute? I think in my last minute, I think I could also maybe look for places that I can offer my own examples. Like, let's see, like, where's that part about gender? Gender. Ways of looking at gender. All right, so it allows us to think of different ways. Looking away at gender. This is going to be in the mind-body problem. All right, well, that's all the time I got. My timer just went off. Mind-body problem, because it's going to question the binary. Found in Western epistemology. And what I mean by that is that European ways of thinking oftentimes try to break things down into a duality, like a binary. Like, yes, no, good, bad, right, wrong, thesis, antithesis, synthesis, that kind of thing. All right?